Okay, so we're doing this vlog style tonight because I want to get my gear together. I'm not going to be filming on the camera that I usually film on because I'm going to use that to take some photos tonight. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to be shooting the full moon. It's a super moon. It's August. It's a blue moon and super moon. But essentially is when the moon's closest to the horizon line, it actually appears a little bit larger. So I'm excited about that. Just the other night, I shot the moon perfectly. The best shot I've ever gotten of the moon. So I'm going to walk you through that today. And what we're filming on is, let me record with my phone here so you can see what we're filming on. I'm also going to use cinematic mode just to make it look extra cool. Is what we're shooting on today. What you're being filmed on is the Sony A7C, and that is the ECM microphone on the top. And then the lens that we're shooting on is this 11mm 1.8, so it's super wide and it looks pretty cool. And so I'm able to get all this kind of like really wide. So that's what we're shooting on. That's what you're gonna see most of this vlog on tonight. But let me show you the setup of how we're gonna be shooting the super moon. And we need to hurry because 8:30ish is when the moon rises over the horizon. But luckily for us, I live with mountains behind us, so it's actually not, so the mountains, the moon has probably risen, but it actually hasn't risen all the way yet, so we haven't gotten there yet. Okay, I'm bringing you a little closer here to talk about gear. Okay, so our setup tonight is this Sony A7CR. I know it's making you kind of nervous, I don't have it covered. It is the Sony A7CR, which is the newer camera from the Sony A7C that we're filming on. Because last year, about this time, the A7CR and the A7C2 came out. I went with the A7CR because I want those extra megapixels because I had intentions of shooting things like the moon. I wanted them to be larger so I could have that ability to blow them up with the larger megapixels because the A7CR packs a lot more megapixels in the photo area than the A7C2. And that tends to be kind of like the main difference there. So we have the A7CR, and then I have this big mama jahamba right here. Shout out to Sony. So this is the Sony 200 to 600G lens. I've never had a lens like this before, and I've always wanted one. So shout out to Sony for helping me with this video. Glad I finally have it. And so I'm gonna get really zoomed in there. We're gonna stick with 600mm. And then this little bad boy right here is, let me get this off. There we go. This is a 2-time teleconverter. So it's gonna convert my 600mm to a 1200mm. Sorry, I had to close my eyes to do the math. I know, I'm tired. I know it's been a long day. Easy math. But now it becomes a 1200mm. So I can shoot with that. And then because of the extra megapixels from the Sony A7CR, I'm able to make the image even brighter. So you're going to want to mount this whole setup onto the lens because it's so heavy and not necessarily the camera. So that's where we're going to mount it. And we are actually going to mount it to the, let me take you over here. We're actually going to mount this to this small rig tripod. This is our new tripod, their newest tripod. And it's a video tripod, but it's lightweight, so it's a little bit bigger than a standard tripod, but I want that stability, and it's a video tripod, and it's actually really lightweight. So we're going to be using this tonight, and I'm going to be doing a review on this soon, but we're going to use this tonight with our A7CR setup. So let's go outside and set this thing up. Oh yeah, and you've probably seen this setup everywhere. These arms right here, I'm going to be mounting to the tripod, and then I'll mount it to this camera right here so it can be a stable shot of you seeing what I'm seeing through the lens of the A7CR. It's still looking pretty good. It's still pretty bright out here. But this is our tripod. And it's pretty cool. It has these twisty knobs on here. So all I have to do is, there's this latch that holds the legs in together. All I have to do is open these up. That opens all the way. 2 knobs per leg. 1, and then 2. 1, 2, and then 1, and 2. And now our tripod's set up to shoot. Okay. Also, shout out to Geeks Outfit for this Sith Happens shirt. They got some really cool geek outfits out there, so geek shirts, just give it a look. Here's a link to them. Go check it out. It's pretty cool. Alright, we got the setup going on here for the super moon. I don't know who else is out getting the moon tonight, but I've also got the A7C taking a video of the A7CR because this one's going to get the photos. Look, there's the horizon there, over the mountain at least. And we're going to get a moonrise here soon. Can't wait to get this super moon. I'm cranking up the ISO because we're all set up here. We got the lens, we got the tripod, which you cannot see because it's so dark. And now we just wait for the moon to come up. It is getting brighter on the horizon over the mountain though. So we'll just wait. I will say this though, the stars are looking pretty cool tonight. Got some twinkling stars there, and then we got the horizon out there. Just waiting for you, moon. Just waiting. So it's hard to see in this darkness, but I'll take a quick picture here. We have our ISO cranked up to 20,000. However, if I bring this up a little bit more, let's go 8-second shutter and see how the horizon looks. Okay, there's the horizon. We got the horizon with the star. Also, I noticed if you switch to video mode, you can actually see a little bit more of the horizon there. See that? This ISO goes up to 32,000, so this will help me at least see how close I am, and I can manually focus. So the trick that I learned from this the other night was manual focus. Is you could use the touch focus, and that works to an extent, but manual focus really helped me dial it in so that you could see the textures on the moon. And the video doesn't do it justice, but it's getting pretty bright over there on the horizon where the moon is coming up. It's also super windy out here tonight, so make sure you got a good tripod. Yeah, we got clear skies, but it is kind of shaky. So I'm hoping this doesn't mess with me. And then as I do manual focus in video mode, I'm kind of focusing on that star right there on the left. And that's looking pretty crisp. So the purpose of me shooting this tonight with this setup is to shoot this as photos and to get the best photos I can. But while we're here, we might as well try to get the best video we can. So let's bump this up. We're shooting 4K 24, so I'm going to bump this up again to 150, 1/50. Unfortunately, I can only go f13. That's as wide as I can go. And I have my ISO cranked up all the way to 32,000. And I was looking at color temperature of what I should shoot the moon at, and there was a range. And so I'm going to go with 3800, kind of meet in the middle there. But we'll try to get a good moonrise shot as well, a video. And then we'll crank this over to photo when we get the chance. Also, pro tip, something worth checking out is if you have the A7CR, make sure you use the Creators app, because you could also pair your camera to your phone, and that way I don't have to shake the tripod by pressing the button. I just go to Operate Camera, and then it's connected via Bluetooth, so I'll do remote shooting. And while that's connecting, let's take a look here at 2 cardinal sins I have. I have 4 minutes left of recording I could do on my SD card. I also have 26% left of battery. Make sure you have an empty memory card and also full battery. I have them right by, so if I need them, I'm going to swap them out, but we're going to run with it for now. Okay, now this is loaded on my phone, and now I can see on my phone what my camera sees. Get a little bit of a larger view as a screen so I know what I'm shooting, especially when it comes down to the details of the finite details I want to get of the moon. I bumped it up to a 1-second shutter just so I could see it brighter, so I can see what I'm shooting. And then when I look with my phone, it just gives me a larger screen to view those details in, making sure I'm in focus. Okay, I swapped out the battery for 100% battery. I also deleted some stuff from my SD card. It gives us some space and some power. And right now I still have it at 1/8 at f-stop. I want to do 1/50 just to get that 180 video footage, but we're just going to wait till it gets a little brighter over the mountains there. I don't know how long to wait for. And just so I know I'm not crazy, if I use this Star Walk app, the moon is right there, so it's coming up soon. Okay, moved over here just slightly because I think this is where the focus is going to be, as I notice it's getting brighter around this area of the mountain range. So I'll lock this in just to keep it there. Still at 1/3 just so I can get it bright enough so I can see how clear my picture is. But we just wait. I think I see some glow around that area. So I zoom back to 200 millimeters, and I have the 2-time teleconverter on there, so about 400 right now. And you can see here, see it's getting bright around this area. And I know that's where the moon's going to be coming up. It's also a little brighter on the screen. But also if you want to look at it on the phone, that's how it looks. You can just see how bright it is in that area, how concentrated that moon glow is. So I cranked this up to 1/20 f-stop, and here, if I rotate the camera this way, you'll be able to see where the moon isn't as it gets darker over here, and where the moon is, kind of just right in that area, right there, is where the moon's going to be coming up, and I don't want to miss it. Okay, it's going to happen soon. I definitely have it happening soon. I have it at 1/50, and then it's definitely getting brighter from what I'm seeing with my naked eye. Can't see it on camera, but it's definitely getting brighter. And the thing is, when the moon's out, it's going to be so bright that we're not going to see any detail until I reduce my ISO. And actually, yeah, my shutter speed's good at where it's at. Getting some definite moon glow above that peak. I just don't know if I'm in focus. On my phone, it's looking pretty good, but I honestly don't know until it gets bright enough. So it's gonna be a quick change to make sure we get this thing all the way in focus once it's above the mountain. And I don't wanna do autofocus because it's pretty good in daylight, but when you get things like the moon and I really wanna get those details, I wanna make sure I'm controlling what my camera's doing. None of that automatic stuff. Zoom out. Yep, there it is. If I zoom out, you can see where the focus area is. We'll go right there. Let me go up just a little bit because I want to get a little bit more of the moonrise. But I mean, that's a huge change from where we were at. We were like 1/5 or something earlier, and now we're over 1/50. So we got that cinematic 180 rule going on, and it's now even bright enough so that we can see what's happening over the mountain. Any minute now. It's happening. Look at that horizon right there above the mountain. Okay, I'm also probably going to have to change a couple of things as well as this comes up. Probably have to crank down my ISO because you know it's getting brighter. I'm doing that with my phone. This looks so cool. One really bright moon. If I crank it up, it does look pretty neat. We'll just get a few seconds of that. But I think I got the focus right. That looks so dope. Man, what if the moon just like went back on? Okay, now that it's coming up, I'm gonna crank this down just a little bit more so we can see the details of the moon. Nice, I could do it from my phone. I think I have it in focus, so I got it at 1/50 f-stop as well as my ISO is cranked all the way down. And I think the detail's there. I mean, you're seeing what I'm seeing. This is cool. Of course, this is where the wind kicks in. Let's go up an ISO just to see how cool this is with that horizon. I don't know what's cooler, to see the horizon with it or to see the moon itself. Moves so quick. I think I'm not centered, so I'll move this back over. Right there. Oh, come on, wind. Don't ruin my shot I've been waiting so long for. Wind is really picking up now. While the moon's on the horizon, I'm going to switch over to photo. We're then going to manual focus, which is really cool because it gives me that. Look at that, if I manual focus, I'll take a picture here. What's nice is when you're in photo mode and you manual focus and you adjust, it'll give you that kind of a zoomed in 4.7 times, and I can really see the detail there of the moon. And then I can actually zoom in, make sure I got it right. It's not right. So what I'll do is I'll actually crank up my ISO. And since it's so windy and shaky, I'll crank up ISO. Let's go to 128. And then I'll crank up my shutter speed. So that's super fast. So I'm not getting camera shake. So now if I look at my photo, and I zoom in, just make sure I got all the details. There you see all of that in its glory. That's crazy that that's in the sky. Double check my focus again. Make sure I've got all the details. So here's the funnest part for me is I like to, when I'm shooting the moon, is use this manual focus. Just look around. You can see in real time what I'm seeing. That's pretty cool. Seeing it on a screen doesn't do it justice, but to be out here right now, seeing what I'm seeing, that's pretty dope. So as I mentioned before, with the A7CR, you get way more megapixels than you do out of the A7C2, which is still a good camera, but the purpose of what I want to do is I knew I wanted to take photos, so I have this as an option. Here's a photo here. I'm going to zoom out, make sure I got all the details in there that I wanted to get. Still not satisfied with this, so I'm going to crank up my ISO even more. 32. Bring this. Oh, that's already at maxed. Oh, that's already at max. Okay. Bring this down just a little bit. Make sure I have the details. Take a couple more. And also, just to make sure, let me adjust my tripod. And another thing I can do is I could just make sure that I've set myself up for success. Oh, let me fix that. And just to make sure I've set myself up for success, I've got everything in place, shutter speed, ISO is where I want it. And I'll just use my phone to take the photo so that I'm not shaking the tripod as I take the photo. So I'll connect again. There it is. And a button. There we go. So let's take a look at the photo just to make sure it looks good. Still don't think I got all of the detail around those edges that I want to. Manual focus adjust. I think that's good. That's the moon. And honestly, this is what I'm seeing is if I bring up my ISO, I'm going to zoom out. Technically, that's what I'm seeing right now, but I can see details of the moon. That's pretty cool.